To the Point with Michael Williams.
Good morning. Brace for impact. The Army Corps of Engineers has moved ahead with plans to dump water, huge amounts of it, out of Lake Okeechobee, sending it rushing toward the St. Lucie Estuary, Indian River Lagoon, Lake Worth Lagoon. On the Treasure Coast, more than 1 billion gallons a day, more than 300 million to the Lake Worth Lagoon, and more than twice those amounts going to the Treasure Coast, heading west through the Caloosahatchee River. My guest in a moment. First, some more background. I caught up with Mark Perry at the St. Lucie Lock and Dam.
I'm really upset.
Tranquility here, about to give way to a veritable tsunami rushing through this dam. This is what it has looked like in years past when the gates opened wide. Perry, the head of the Florida Oceanographic Society, waits and worries.
They should have been releasing water out of the lake south prior to this, back in October last year when the lake got over 16 feet.
How long will the water flow into the St. Lucie Estuary, Indian River Lagoon, and Lake Worth Lagoon?
They can't go for a long duration at these discharges.
No firm or final timeline yet from the Army Corps of Engineers. Each day, Perry says, will be another day of water filled with phosphorus and nitrogen.
You're going to wipe out these habitats such as oyster reefs and seagrass beds, which hundreds and hundreds of fish and shellfish as well as manatees and everything depend on.
Algae blooms could be another nasty result now or later, environmentalists say. They're pushing for alternatives.
We need to get water out of the lake for the health of the lake and for the health of everybody around the lake. So we understand we have to get water out, but they should be putting it south to the Everglades that needs it.
A never-ending debate over balancing safety for communities around the lake, environmental and economic consequences for coastal and farming communities, all while trying to secure a future for a parched Everglades. All sides again bracing for impact. I'm joined now by longtime CEO of the Everglades Foundation, Eric Eichenberg. Sir, thank you for being with us.
Michael, good to see you.
First take.
Well, it's disappointing. Here we go again with discharges from Lake Okeechobee. You heard Mark Perry talking about the water levels in the lake as we sit here in February, over 16 feet. But we've been in a heavy rainfall weather pattern, El Nino weather pattern. The challenge of sending water south today is difficult. Mark's right. They should be sending water south, but as water flows off sugarcane fields to the south of Lake Okeechobee, that's what's taking up a lot of the wetlands to remove the pollution. The central Everglades is full due to rainfall, and we still are removing the remaining roadbed of Tamiami Trail. That road has been bridged 3.5 miles. The remaining road is being removed today. And many bridges, additional bridges, are being constructed. About another year for that project to be finished. So again, Michael, here we are with discharges. It's very unfortunate, but viewers need to realize this plan of storing, cleaning, and sending water south is happening. It's just not quick enough.
And we're talking 6-7 years away before the reservoir south of the lake is, we hope, fully operational. So we've got time that we're still going to have these kind of debates. And what do we do in the meantime is what the layperson asks all the time.
Well, in a traditional dry season, November through May, you are able to reduce the water levels in Lake Okeechobee, flow it through those wetlands, remove the pollutants, and move water south into the River of Grass, under the bridges along Tamiami Trail, to Everglades National Park, and then ultimately down to the Florida Keys. There's a plan that we hope to see in place by June 1st to operate the lake, a new manual, a new structure for the Army Corps of Engineers during the dry season. Drop the lake levels lower, send water south. You mentioned the reservoir. We were out there a couple weeks ago. That project is finally coming out of the ground after almost 2 decades. We have a few more years certainly to build it, but that's the new outlet to store, clean, and send that water south.
I want to pick up on that thought in a moment and all the disparate interests, including agriculture, that some argue stand in the way. Agriculture says we need to make sure we have enough water. Brian Mast was furious last week saying that this once again is playing more to those interests than others. It's an ongoing debate, but I also want you to listen to what the Army Corps of Engineers boss said just a short while ago.
We certainly acknowledge that concern. The broad message is we've got to get the flood control system ready for the wet season and managing those flood risks. But I think the other part of the message is we're acknowledging those risks from potential harmful algal blooms by really looking at the front end and the current timing over the next 6 weeks to try and go to these high flows and bring those lake levels down to reduce that risk.
Again, he was acknowledging the concern about environmental worries in the Treasure Coast and certainly west to the Caloosahatchee and beyond, and Lake Worth Lagoon here in Palm Beach County. Fundamentally, though, between a rock and a hard place, they feel. They say even if they were under a new operating schedule, the new LOSM rules, they'd probably be in the same place because of El Nino. They have to worry about safety of people around the lake, the fisheries on the lake. Fisheries there are being harmed by high water levels, as you know. Moving south, you've already got water flow there, so they don't have a lot of room to do anything. And then they said, well, at least we'll try and do this before blue-green algae becomes a worse problem in the summer. First of all, they're going to be able to get the lake to a level that they feel sustainable and that somehow creates this balancing act by June 1.
Well, we will see. There's more water that flows into the lake than they can get out.
Yep.
So that is a challenge. By June 1st, if you're sitting at 16 feet in February, what does that look like in June? Certainly El Nino doesn't help, and that's where they're now forced to send water east and west.
Could we have gotten more water south? What's the agriculture piece of that? And for our viewers, that's a piece we'll be talking to agriculture here in the next days and weeks. The story's going to be evolving. But is that a piece that could have helped move more water south than what we're now going to see coming east and west? Or, as they often argue, we're being made the boogeyman here.
Well, I don't know about a boogeyman. I mean, there's really no shared...
Not by you per se. I'm talking just broadly.
But the shared adversity side of all this is really not impacting them, because you could potentially raise water levels in those canals within the Everglades agricultural area, raise the water table to provide more water in that EAA area just south of Lake Okeechobee. But the issue is we have 70,000 acres of wetlands that the taxpayer has spent over $3 billion to build. They're being utilized today to clean up Sugar's water to send that south. You cannot inject or send more lake water just yet. That's coming, and this reservoir project will enable that water to flow south.
And ultimately, that's the answer, more water south.
It is the answer, and listen, it is a $3 billion project. It is finally coming out of the ground. We were in Washington 2 weeks ago seeking these dollars for this particular reservoir project. The good news is it's on pace to be that solution, but it's not overnight, Michael. We still have a handful of years to get to the ultimate end zone.
So people listen to this and say, Mr. Eichenberg, we appreciate it, and I'm going to ask you to take care of the Rubik's Cube here in a minute. You're going to say, thanks a lot, Michael. But people say, I get that. But right now, what do you say we can be doing better so that we could avoid a situation like this? If it's unavoidable, nature plays a role in there. And again, I just handed you the Rubik's Cube, and I've given you about a minute and a half or two to give our viewers some sense.
We need hundreds of millions of dollars out of Washington, so both Democrat and Republican alike in D.C. coming together to make sure that Everglades restoration is funding. This reservoir needs to be funded from the President of the United States to the U.S. Congress. You have a governor and a legislature that are putting hundreds of millions of dollars onto the table. That project needs to remain on track to be finished by 2030. You have a new operational schedule for the lake starting June 1st. That's going to give greater flexibility in a typical dry season for the Army Corps to send that water south. We need our legislators in Tallahassee and in Washington to reaffirm their commitment to Everglades restoration, place the dollars there so these projects are completed as soon as possible so we can reap the benefits of all of this. Listen, this is going to be an environmental challenge with these discharges, but make no mistake, fishing, boating, our real estate, the tourism-based economy in Florida is impacted when we have these discharges. All of these constituencies across our state want to see Everglades restoration come to fruition. We're going to store it, it's going to be cleaned, and that water is going to go south, ultimately to Florida Bay. We have to remain focused, and we tell our decision makers in D.C. and Tallahassee, don't stop now.
Eric Eichenberg, CEO of the Everglades Foundation. I know that the topic is so enormously challenging, but we always appreciate you stopping by to help us at least break down where we are and where we need to go. Thank you for that time and that education.
Thank you, Michael.
Appreciate it much. To other news now on this busy week. The shooting at Gardens Mall on Valentine's Day. One person hurt, possibly related to what appears to be a case of people who knew each other. A targeted shooting turning to handguns in the mall. Possible gang involvement, a working hypothesis. A law enforcement source told me that day. No innocent people hurt. Once again, worries though about where you can go and feel safe. How do you secure that safety for yourself and family? And what about ongoing police and deputy training to deal with threats? I talked with Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw.
Well, let me tell you, to start with, Gardens was the lead agency on this. Their response was right, perfect response to these type of things. Fast, to the point. They knew where they were headed. They knew where the threat was, and they were able to get in there if the threat was still there and neutralize it. That's the part of law enforcement today, right? Speed, because every second that you're not there is a second that somebody could get shot. So speed, accuracy, where the threat is, get there as fast as you can and neutralize the threat. Now, if you're a person that's just out in the community, it doesn't matter if it's a parade, it doesn't matter if it's a mall, it doesn't matter if it's a movie theater. In today's atmosphere, you've got to be really cognizant of your surroundings. In other words, you know, if I go into a theater or I go into a venue, I kind of say, if something happens, where am I going? What's my exit here if something happens? It's a shame you got to think like that, but that's the reality of what we're living today. So you've got to kind of have an idea where you're going to go if something happens. Because the training we give to people when these things happen is three things: run, hide, or fight. You only got three options. The first one is run away from the threat if you can. That means go to where your exit strategy thought that they could give you. If you cannot run, then try to find a safe place to hide. Under a car, behind a desk, you know, under something. Try to hide in a safe place.
We saw that at the mall where stores took people in as part of the strategy.
Exactly. And, you know, at the end of the day, if all else fails, be prepared to fight. That means if you have to pick up a chair or a bottle or whatever it is to defend yourself from this person, then that's what you have to do. So it's run, hide, and fight. You know, you saw at the parade, you had some bystanders that actually tackled these people.
You're talking the Kansas City parade where there was shooting.
That was very fortunate. And, you know, in big venues, there will be people that step up and, you know, do what the right thing to do is and try to subdue the person involved in this.
Sheriff, you've talked about this before, as do leaders of all police agencies, how much has changed. Of course, this was Valentine's Day of this year, and a number of people during our long breaking news coverage could not help but think back to 6 years before Parkland. Teen gunman kills 17 people. All of that has so much changed the way law enforcement responds here and nationally. And yet we saw at Uvalde, that response failed. So it's an ongoing process. But talk about what you touched on at the very outset, the kind of training that goes on and it has to go on to stay ahead of these threats as we move into the future.
Uvalde failed because of training and leadership. Bad training and no leadership at the scene to say, this is what we're going to do. Our training, and we train with other agencies, we train with fire rescue, we train in different venues where we actually get a school or an airport, go in there when people are not around to understand your surroundings and know what you're going to do. But the prime objective, right from the beginning, is speed and accuracy. Go to where the problem is, neutralize the situation as fast as you can. And that's the standard training around the country, right? The other thing that's happened, you know, across the country, and we talked about this before, there's a lot of proactive things that we're trying to do to find out who these people are before it happens. That's where mental health comes in. That's where this mental health unit that I started uses the red flag law. If we can identify somebody that is having mental problems, that may be prone to violence to themselves or others, we can get to them, get them to help, but also have the ability to take the firearms away from them. So that's spreading across the country. And there's a lot of places where they find out, okay, after the fact, the people did have mental illness. That doesn't mean that everybody that's mentally ill is dangerous. It means that's one of the factors. And if they would have had the ability to take the firearms away from them to start with, that wouldn't have happened. So the proactive is, let's identify people that may have the propensity to do these things. And then if it happens, you know, law enforcement has to be on the cutting edge of the training and leadership at the scene to make sure that we just do the right thing as fast as we possibly can.
Up next, the Roundtable with Ryan Crowley.